Meet John Rood, an American who moved to China 11 years ago. During our walk through Shenzhen, he shared the biggest misconceptions Americans have about China, the cultural shocks they face when living there, and whether the social credit system really exists. I'm Chernov, your insider to Expat Life. Doba.
What's the biggest misconceptions about China in the US or in the West, you think?
I mean, I think for like Americans, like, oh, it's communism, right? So
Yeah.
communism.
Communism, yeah.
I think there's all sorts of
Very controlled, yeah.
yeah, very controlled and like very like you're like living in a police state and all of that.
Yeah.
But actually, like in your daily life, like you would never like really have this feeling. I think.
Yeah.
Like I've been here for 11 years and I've never been like hassled by police or anything like that. Like not at all. So I think, yeah, like the idea of like being under control and like the social credit score and all of this kind of stuff, like
Yeah, exaggerated.
yeah, I think that's like the biggest one that a lot of my friends in the States would have about here, for sure.
But this social credit score system, it exists or not really?
I don't know a single person who has, nobody here ever talks about it. Like like if you asked my wife about it, like she wouldn't have anything to say. Like no. Presumably if you like did something bad, then your score would go down, but
Yeah.
like on the Alipay app, like you have like a little like credit score on there, but I think it's just from like your purchase history and things like
Yeah,
that.
I guess it's pretty similar to like most of the places. If you don't pay back your loan, you'll be screwed, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get another loan.
Yeah, but like the social credit score, this thing is like something that's mostly talked about by people outside of China. Like,
Yeah.
like seriously, like nobody that I know here like talks about, cares about this, ever mentions it.
I think the misconception that people think that China is like so controlled, but China is a huge country and it's hard to control that many people. And the people are very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
They will find their way around. I mean, there are like, of course, rules and regulation and structure,
Yeah.
but it's impossible to control like 1.5 billion people, right?
I think like the general way of thinking about it is that on paper things are very strict, but in reality, like not enforced.
It's actually the same in Singapore. People think Singapore is like so strict.
Right? Like they're gonna like cane you for chewing gum or something. Like that.
Yeah, this kind of thing. But if you live there, it's normal. It's
Yeah.
like I never had any fine. I get fined actually, for example, for speeding in like Europe, in the US, in Russia, but
Yeah.
never in Singapore. So it's like the reputation is strict, but it's not really that strict.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about here. I've never had like I've never even had like a parking ticket here. Like nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I've had like only like really just very positive interactions with people. Like I've never had any like trouble from anybody. I'm sure like a lot of people will tell you China's very safe, right?
Yeah.
It is very safe. And in terms of like things being strict, you don't feel that at all here. I think that's one thing that a lot of my friends and family that come here and visit, they're kind of surprised at that actually.
没有咖啡了，
没有咖啡？
冰水了。
哦，
对，
怎么办？
有那个气泡水，
气泡水。
还有柠檬茶。
They don't have coffee. They have the water's not working in it. You want a lemon tea?
Lemon tea is cold lemon
扫
tea.
码看一个更详细
Oh, okay.
图片。
What was the biggest like cultural differences for you as an American?
I think the first one is like just how kind of like blunt all of the communication is here.
Okay,
Yeah.
very direct. Yeah.
Yeah, super direct. So they're like, oh, like you're a little fat. I was like, yeah, I know, but you're not supposed to say it.
They
don't mean it.
They're not being mean.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
It's not mean. It's just like it's like a very like matter of fact observation. They're like, you're a little fat. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. That was kind of like one thing that it took some getting used to. I mean, the language is a really big thing, honestly. Like you've been in and around here, and you know, like if you don't speak it, you can get around a lot easier now. But even 10 years ago, like we didn't have Didi.
Yeah.
Back then, WeChat was also like a new thing, and foreigners couldn't do WeChat Pay for like the first couple of years that I was here as well.
Yeah.
So you're kind of going around and like paying for things in cash and like calling taxis on the street. So you didn't have all of like the new like China convenience that you have right now, right? That everybody associates with like being here, like the cashless society and like all of this.
Yeah, and now in WeChat you can like with one tap you can translate from Chinese to English. So it's
Yeah.
no problem. Yeah. I don't know how is metro in Shenzhen, but in Guangzhou, people are listening, for example, something like on their phones. They do like this,
Yeah.
like Instagram reels with the sound,
Yeah.
which is
That's a cultural adjustment to make for sure.
yeah. In Singapore, is kind of people will be staring at you if you do this,
Oh yeah.
or only like very old uncles doing it, but it's kind of not common to do it. Yeah,
It's super common here.
yeah.
Yeah, like I've done 2 business trips in the last 2 weeks, and both times the person right next to me is like just flipping through videos on their phone, full volume, no headphones. Try to tune it out, right? It's very common though. Or you'll be in like an elevator with a group of people, and there's one person like a call on speakerphone, full volume. But yeah, it's definitely annoying, but it's not like the end of the world, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah. How would you compare, let's say, how Americans approach problems and Chinese approach problems? What, based on your like working as business experience, how it would be different for Americans and Chinese? I'm generalizing, but
Yeah.
maybe some common patterns.
I'd say like if you're talking about like a business, for example, like an American approach to a problem is to spend a lot more time like thinking about it and deliberating about it, maybe hiring some consultants to try to figure it out, and then and then like hiring some consultants to fix what the consultants did, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Here, I think like generally it's a lot more like quick solutions,
Yeah.
right? Maybe they're not perfect, but like, you know, fix something 70% right now instead of trying to fix it 100%, you know, like a month later.
Right.
I think that's one thing that I've seen. Also, just like in your daily life, I think you kind of like just get used like living in this environment. It's a lot more easy to live here now. I think especially early on, like you just kind of get used to having to like deal with, you know, some random like problem that pops up in the day.
Okay.
I think like this is just something that you live here and like you get accustomed to dealing with lots of small problems. It could be anything, man.
Like,
That's a good.
we get them scared.
Yeah, I mean, like you could just like some pain in the butt trying to buy something outside or like getting somewhere. You could have a disagreement with like a taxi driver or something like that.
Yeah.
Again, this is like kind of what life was like 10 years ago for me when it was new for me here, right? I think it's just a different approach to problem solving here. A lot of my friends back home, you would kind of like, at least like when I think about Americans, like you'll face a problem and kind of like once you have acknowledged the problem and then you have to deal with it, maybe like kind of overreact to it a little bit, like strong reaction to it.
Okay.
I think there's like a very like detached feeling from problems here. It's
Here.
like, yeah,
Okay.
it's just, oh, there's this problem, I have to deal with it right now. Not thinking about it in like such a serious way.
This area reminds me, I don't know, a bit of San Diego / Busan in South Korea. It's beautiful. I mean, it's a seaside.
Yeah.
They're like tall buildings, condos. Is the concept, the condo concept exists in China? It's like you have an apartment and then you have facilities like the gym and the pool.
Yeah, that's like all of these neighborhoods here. Pretty much all of these places are just like you described. So like
Yeah.
the community that we're in over there, I mean, it's the same thing. So it's you live in like an apartment, then you have like at least one pool in the community, right? And there's a gym people can use.
Yeah.
There's like ping pong tables downstairs, stuff
Okay.
like that. So yeah, I would say that most people live like that.
How much would be the place, I don't know, to rent a 2-bedroom apartment here?
So these are all like expensive duplexes here. These would be like 5,000 USD a month
Right.
for like both floors.
Okay.
But like something in like this community over here, like a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, maybe with like 80 square meters, be like 12 to 13,000 RMB. So like just a little bit under 2,000 USD,
Okay.
something like that.
It's pretty affordable.
This is like a very nice area too. You could get much cheaper options,
Yeah.
elsewhere.
What the girls doing? Are they influencers?
Yeah, this is like your influencer spot down here.
Why here? Is that
It's
the
nice.
south?
Like the sea is over there. And then actually we should go get a drink over here, but there's like a little coffee shop over there. There's like an Italian restaurant and a coffee shop over there. And people come down here. We'll sit here and like we'll have drinks in the afternoon. And you'll see like dozens of people just come down here.
You use internet every day, right? And almost every website asks for your personal data, like share your email, enter your name, put your phone number here, right? And we do it so often that we don't even remember where we've shared our personal info. Most people like this, and sometimes it leads to serious risks. If your personal information ends up in the wrong hands, you can be threatened or even robbed. To avoid that, you can ask Delete Me to find out which sites and data brokers have your information. Delete Me is a service that removes your personal data from the internet. When I checked my Delete Me dashboard, I saw that some of my data was floating around online. But thankfully, Delete Me started cleaning it up right away. When I use Delete Me, their privacy experts keep scanning most major data broker sites to make sure no one can access sensitive information about me or my family. And to be honest, it makes me feel more secure. Try it yourself. Go to joindeleteme.com/Chernov and use the code Chernov at checkout to get 20% off. Thanks a lot to Delete Me for having my back. And now let's get back to the video.
So you studied here for 2 years?
2 years.
It was masters, yeah? Did you need to make a decision like if you stay in China or you go back to the US? Or it was already like after 2 years, okay, I'm staying. I like it here, I'm staying.
When I was in grad school, like right when I was starting it, actually in the first semester, I had like a chance encounter on the metro here,
Okay.
where I was like, I sat down and I was reading a textbook, and like somebody sat down next to me and was like asking me like what I was reading. It's like very beautiful girl sits down right next to me, starts to like ask me like what I'm reading, and
So she approached you.
well, she sat down right next to me and just started talking. I think maybe her phone was dead and she didn't have anything to do. She was just bored or something.
Which is not, I guess it's not that common.
No.
Because normally like the girls are shy, or like people are more shy. They are very friendly, but you kind of need to break the ice first.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was kind of surprised about this as well.
Yeah.
We just started talking, like, what do you do here? I'm like, oh, I'm a student, I'm doing this and that. And she's like telling me, oh, like I work at a bank, and like, you know, this is like very like kind of like just chit chat. Right? But then I added her WeChat, and you know, like she actually like had to get off the train really fast, and so I didn't have a chance to ask her out right then.
Okay.
But I like sent her a message after.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I would love to take you out to dinner. It was great meeting you. And she didn't reply to me. And then I sent her another message like that week and no reply. So I gave up and just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
Fast forward about 6 months later, we're like early 2015 now. And I was on a motorcycle trip in Yunnan province with a really good friend of mine.
Okay.
And I got a message from this girl, like, Happy Chinese New Year. I was like, oh man. Like,
Okay.
I was like showing it to my friend. I was like, I met this girl on the train. She remembers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really excited. I didn't know that like in WeChat, there's a function where you can send the same message to like everybody on your contacts list. Actually, like she didn't remember me at all. But at that point, like I like sent a bunch of photos from like my motorcycle trips. It's like, you know, like really cool, like motorcycle with a mountain in the back. And I thought it was really cool. And apparently she like didn't really care about any of that. But I asked her out to dinner again. I was like, hey, I'll be back in Shenzhen next week. I asked her out to dinner, and then she agreed to meet me at like 3 p.m. in a very public location for a coffee, which like makes sense. I'm just some guy that she met on the train.
After 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just some stranger, but she met on the train as well. So survival instincts are important. We went then, and we've been together ever since, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just a little bit over 10 years now. So you asked me about like how I wound up like deciding to stay here. Like, there was definitely like a romantic element that was part of the decision-making process.
Your wife is same age?
Yeah.
When you start dating her, what would any like cultural difference or cultural shocks, or like, oh, you get along well, like right away?
I think we had a lot of misunderstandings like earlier on.
Like what?
I think it's like simple stuff like who's gonna pay for dinner, right?
Okay, so
That's,
okay, what would be the difference?
well, if you're, I guess it's not that different, but like if in the States, like you would probably
Or you split, yeah? 50-50 kind of.
maybe it depends on the person,
Yeah.
right? Here, it's like if you're inviting somebody out to dinner, you're definitely paying.
Yeah,
right? And
definitely,
that's
no
fine.
question about that.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like little stuff like that, I think.
So you adopted the local way already, or you still like
sure.
more American way?
No, definitely. I think the local ways. But even if you're like going out and just eating with like a group of friends, like you would never see like a group of 10 Chinese people split a check
Yeah.
at all. You have people like arguing over who gets to pay it. You want to pay it.
Yeah.
I think there's something kind of fun about that. Like I like that. I can appreciate it.
Yeah. I think it's nice. Yeah. Hanging out with like my Singaporean friends, this kind of similar. It depends on the group, but it's kind of similar. Like my good friends, the Singaporean Chinese. It's like when we go out, like I need to be fast to get my credit card, like to give it to the staff. Otherwise, he would always pay.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I mean, it kind of, you feel more close, like feel appreciation for your relationships.
Yeah. I think like one thing that a lot of like Western expats like run into here with dating is, you know, maybe they're just like kind of looking for something casual, right?
Yeah.
But like when the other party is actually thinking a couple steps ahead. We didn't have so much of that like in our situation, because we kind of just like hit it off from the beginning, even though we would fight about small things.
Okay.
But I have a lot of friends here that, you know, they'd be in a relationship for 2 or 3 years, and then the question comes up, you know, where is this going?
Okay.
So I've seen like a number of couples kind of struggling with that.
I guess also another factor is that you're always on the visa kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you never get like legally like super permanent. That's why also like foreigners feel like more transient in China.
Yeah, for sure.
In general.
Thank you. What?
Thank you.
Yeah. For the longest time though, like I've just given myself a visa, like through the company. It's like my company, and then the company sponsors the visa.
Yeah.
And then actually now I'm like actually eligible for the Chinese green card as well.
Okay.
So the easiest way, there's a lot of different like tracks you can take for it. The easiest way is you're legally married to a Chinese person for 5 years, which my wife and I are now. So I'm actually like in the process of prepping all those documents, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's like almost like the better part of a year to process it. I think it's like 9 to 12 months to actually have it go through. But
Yeah.
and that basically, it wouldn't change much day to day actually from right now, just that it's valid for 10 years. So like right now, I just renew my visa every 2 years.
So it's a kindergarten inside of this Condo complex, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's very safe for kids, I guess.
Super safe.
Do you obtain like some habits after living here for 11 years? When you go to the US and your family, maybe your parents say, "Oh, why are you saying it? Oh, why are you doing this?"
And I've had family members say like my English has gotten worse like the longer that I'm living here.
Yeah. Simplified. Right?
Yeah, so it's like I'll be back, and then someone will ask me if like, oh, like you want this? I'm like, oh, no need.
No need. Yeah.
Like, do you mean you do not need this?
Yeah, no
Like,
need,
something
no
like
need.
that.
Yeah,
You
it's
kind of
like
like
that.
simplify things a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely guilty of that. I think honestly, smoking was a big one for a long time. I was smoking a pack a day all the time here for the first like 8 years I was here. And none of my friends back in the States smoke anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe you're out drinking, you have one, right? But nobody I know in the States smokes cigarettes. And I got off of that a couple of years ago. I'd say that was, I don't know if that's like because of here. I think that's just like a me thing. It's very, very common to smoke here.
That's what I noticed as well. Yeah. It's
Yes.
more common, I guess, than in Singapore.
Like we'll do a lot of business meetings with clients, and like it's pretty common. You know, there's like a tea table, everyone's drinking tea, and then you drink some tea and you smoke a cigarette. I wouldn't say like the entire business culture is based around that, but very, very common. I don't think I would have smoked for so long getting back home.
Yeah, because smoking is definitely a social thing. When I lived in Moscow a long time ago, I used to smoke I think I smoked for a year or two, because like 50% of my colleagues, they smoked as well. And then it's kind of, okay, let's have a cigarette. And then you have break from work and just go have a cigarette. So, and it's kind of, and if you don't smoke, you feel kind of abandoned, yeah? So you feel like, yeah, left behind, kind of. Because also, like, I used to work for a corporation, for P&G actually, for Procter & Gamble.
Okay.
And then you kind of know the news about the company and about like anything basically inside your team
Right.
at the smoking room. Yeah, so it's kind of necessity to smoke. What's your thoughts and feelings about the US when you go there after living for so many years in China?
Yeah. I mean, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I'll always love it. And I miss it all the time. Like where I'm from is a really cool place. It's beautiful. When I go back, I'm usually back for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I'm really, really happy and just good to be back for the first week.
Yeah.
But going into like the second week, like I kind of start to get like a little like restless.
Oh.
You know, and like I get a little bit like, I gotta get back to Shenzhen.
Yeah. To work or just for your life? But
Yeah, it's like to work, and it's also like my life is here now as well. And just like when you live in a place for a certain amount of time, like you kind of like your wiring changes a little bit.
Right.
You know, so like this place is, there's like 20 million people in this city, and it's like you get used to everything being super fast. Like they have this thing called Shenzhen speed.
Yeah.
Like everything just is very fast. Like the pace of life is very fast here. So I think it's, even if I'm not thinking about getting back and just going to work, it's like the pace of life.
Right.
It already doesn't match. Don't get me wrong. I love going back home. I love going back to the States, but I'm definitely like, you know, acclimatized for this area here.
What's the meaning of life for you? Did you ever figure it out?
I mean, for the longest time, because I'm in Shenzhen, it was like to be as successful as possible and to like make as much money as possible. But like ultimately, that's just not a good way to go about your life. I think being able to like have the freedom to do what you want with people that you really like to do it with, and to spend time with the people that you love, and you know, to experience, you know, as much as you can. I think that's the best answer I have come up with so far. I don't claim to have like the best answer. That's the best I've got though.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Delete Me. Go to joindeleteme.com/Chernov and use code Chernov at checkout to get 20% off.